Well, hello and welcome to all of our viewers around the world. I'm Fiona Lang-Sharp, IBCLC, Director of Communications, and MC here at Gold Learning. I'm very excited today. I've just had the pleasure of sitting down with Tori Halton and listening to the latest presentation that is going to be part of an add-on package for Gold Midwifery 2025. That's right. That's what we're talking about today. Welcome back, Tori, to Gold. It's so great to have you here today.
Yes, thank you for having me again. It's been
Well,
so exciting.
you're very welcome. It was sort of a very natural fit when we were talking about this presentation. I'm going to read the title to everyone: Restoring the Connection, Methods for Repairing Ruptured Client Relationships. When we started brainstorming this topic with our educational planning team, your name came up right away. It was an instantaneous. And of course, you worked with us before. It was a great presentation, of course, that you had. And it was very popular. And folks, of course, can come find it online. But I wanted to say, Tori, this topic, I felt that it's not something that comes up very often amongst professionals. We don't talk about it very often, although I see it does happen quite frequently. As you and I were just talking off camera, I said that it happened to me recently, and it was just a little moment that happened, but those are the moments that can build mistrust, I think, for our clients. And we need to learn from them. We need to grow from them. So this presentation, you sort of dive into some of those things. Tell me a little bit about some of these ruptured client relationships. Have you had them? Do you and your peers talk about them? Is it kind of that sort of off topic? Do we talk about, do we not? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's really wonderful with all my professional experience because I started off being in the hospital setting and working with labor and delivery and having those misattunements happen and being able to communicate with my clients about it afterwards. And then after that, I went into the postpartum period, working with clients in their homes and processing through those birth experiences while supporting them with lactation. And then now I'm more so in like the therapeutic space, offering therapy and processing trauma and being able to hear clients and those ruptures with their practitioners that they had. So being able to kind of see all those different snippets and be able to kind of access the understandings in different ways has been really helpful to kind of acknowledge, everyone has this happening and it's, that elephant in the room, so to speak,
Yeah.
right? Of, not knowing how to really navigate it and work through it. And at the same time, seeing how healing it can be for our clients if we're able to create space for them.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. And you actually call it misattunement, right? Is that how you address it in your language?
Yeah. So that attunement is kind of that, being able to see our clients in the present moment and offer them whatever they need, whether it's emotional support or physical support. And then sometimes those misattunements happen, those little blips, like you said, where it's just like, oh, it seems like they didn't quite understand what I was trying to say, or, oh, maybe they didn't take that the right way type thing. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I do love that language because it talks about, you talked a little bit about regulation and, having this, regulatory sort of behavior. And we are regulating ourselves with our clients, but sometimes there is a misalignment that can definitely happen during that time. Can you tell me a little bit about let's talk a little bit more about the nervous system and the impact that it can have. I love one of the great resources, The Body Keeps the Score, in great writings by Bezel, of course. And I'm sure you're smiling. I'm sure you're familiar with it, of course. But tell me more about that, because I think this is something that we're starting to recognize in clients when we're working with them, whether it be in the birth world or the postpartum period. Tell me a little bit more about how we might recognize that going forward.
And by that, do you mean kind of recognize where our clients are in that moment, or?
Yeah, I think both. I think with ourselves as practitioners and perhaps with our clients, because I think sometimes our clients too, they are obviously we're regulating sometimes with them and together. And I'm always curious that, obviously there's an educational moment that comes into play, but I think they might describe it or you might see it in them as well. And I think you talked a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, so in the presentation, we kind of go through all the different aspects of our nervous system and how we respond to threat, whether it's real or
Mm,
perceived, right? So acknowledging that all of, the different steps, that the hierarchy that we have in our nervous system, that fight or flight or even that freeze response, they're all there for a reason. They're all there to keep us safe, and they're not bad, so to speak. It's just being able to come up and down the ladder, right? With ease rather than getting stuck. So oftentimes, even as healthcare professionals, we can kind of live up in fight or flight, being able to respond to crises very
yes.
well, right? Of being like, okay, I'm up there, and it's being able to, even just take that split moment to be like, what does my body feel in this moment, right? Because
Mm,
oftentimes, when there's stress happening around us, we're feeling tense, our shoulders are tight, our heart rate is racing, our jaws clenched, so to speak, right? So then even just noticing, okay, it's okay, I'm safe,
mm,
right? And that
mm.
that offers that co-regulation with our clients so that they can feel more at ease seeing us in a relaxed state, even when there is stress coming
Yeah,
around us.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, I honestly, when you're speaking, I'm thinking through all the situation scenarios I've been in before, and it's so interesting. And as I listen to you, thinking about, that self-regulation, that co-regulation, with clients, and it can happen, very quickly in a split moment if something is happening at fast pace, or perhaps something is described to us. And I think, we're all human and fallible, and it might be surprising, shocking, if we hear or see something. And so, yes, you even took us through, I feel like a little bit of mindfulness, just to calm ourselves and think about what's happening and sort of have a bit of a reset. How important has it become, in your world to, provide the tools of mindfulness or just, breathing? Breath work is so important, of course, but have you seen an improvement? Have you always used that? Because I feel like, not everybody uses it and it's such a wonderful tool. So tell me a little bit about your experience with that as well, with mindfulness.
That's a great question. So I started off not being aware whatsoever. So when I was
Mm,
in, labor and delivery, I was just, I think I've always been a very empathic person. So being
right?
aware of other people, and oftentimes healthcare professionals can be really almost hyper aware of the people around us and kind of pick up on their energy.
Mhm.
So, but the thing that I was missing was that self-awareness. So that
Mm,
internal awareness of noticing how the external world is impacting me inside and being able to, notice how, again, it's almost like a mirror, right? So, as we become more aware of what's happening inside, then that impacts the external environment, right? So that back and
yes.
forth interplay. So
Mhm.
now with clients, I always bring them back to their body as much as possible, and it's almost like I'm a broken record at times of, what does that feel like inside for you? Where do you notice that? Where do those emotions live inside? Can we just create a little bit of space to feel that? Because oftentimes those emotions and those physical responses feel so strong that we're just like, either pushing them down, right?
Yeah.
Or, they just come out without like with a reaction rather than a response.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking too, yes, it's times really have changed quite significantly, and the tools that we have today are, even better. I think we described a lot of them early in the earlier days, but now, yes, if you're an empathic person, a lot of people are in the healthcare field, particularly in the birth world, and can see, and sense things coming, before they even happen. And so having that awareness as a practitioner is so important. So thank you so much. I'm excited for everyone to listen, of course, to this presentation, Restoring the Connection, Methods for Repairing Ruptured Client Relationships. And we've all had that experience. And I think now we have an opportunity to learn, grow, and be even more relatable, in our practices so that we can continue to support our clients. Tori, thank you so much for being here with me today. It's been absolutely fabulous having you again. I can't wait to hear, the feedback again from this presentation. Folks can, of course, head over to the forums while they're watching it during our midwifery conference. So thank you again for joining me here today.
Thanks, Fiona.
And thank you to everyone listening in. Of course, we've been talking all about those connections, and I want to keep you connected to us. So you can head over to goldmidwifery.com right now. You can actually check out all the schedule that's happening. Find Tori's presentation as part of a fabulous add-on package, so you can sign up for that right now. Don't forget to get in all those special deals happening, so you can head over to goldmidwifery.com. We'll look forward to seeing you online, of course, in the new year. Thank you so much again to Tori Hamilton for being with us here today, and to all of you, our viewers. Bye-bye for now, everyone.